This is Robert Unseld. I'm your instructor for CIS 141, and today we're going to take a look at the syllabus. To introduce myself a little bit, I have provided on the screen my staff page at Western Kentucky University. I have 2 degrees from this institution, one in business administration, another in computer science, and I took the CIS 141 class back when I was an undergrad. So I've been where you are before. So let's jump directly in to the syllabus. Our syllabus for this course is up on Blackboard, and it is in the syllabus area of Blackboard. Now, I'm not going to read this to you verbatim, but what I am going to do is I'm going to hit the important things that I think stand out. Everything is important, of course, but when it comes to like contact information and everything else, you can get it from the syllabus. And I do recommend that you use this syllabus as a reference point to bounce back and forth between as the semester goes, and you'll see why as we get there. A couple things. First and foremost, I am your professor. Here is the information about where I am. Now, this is my office location and down at the Student Union, phone number, and email. The most efficient way to communicate with me is via email. I have an office. I am not necessarily there as I direct 2 different offices on campus and serve on a lot of different committees. But if you send me an email, in most cases, I will get back with you within 48 hours. The required materials for this book is the course, Understanding Computers Today and Tomorrow, 16th edition. Here's the author information and the ISBN if you're looking for it. Here's a link to it on Amazon if you're looking to rent it from Amazon. And of course, it will be in the bookstore. Now let's get to some of the heavy hitting portions here, the things that are make or break for this course. And the first thing is internet requirements. You need a broadband internet connection to be successful in this course, okay? That's important because you'll be watching online lectures, mostly through YouTube, and those lectures will need to be accessible to you, and that's only going to work if you have a broadband internet service. With that said, you also need a computer with Internet Explorer, Firefox, Mac or Windows will work. But if you are having a problem with your computers, it is my suggestion that you use one of the labs on WKU's campuses. We have labs at each of the regional campuses and in the Bowling Green campus. So technology is not an excuse. And I want to make sure that I harp on this. Technology is not an excuse, okay? If you are taking this web course, you are stating that you have adequate technology to complete the course. Now, what that means is when we talk about tests and the other projects and assignments, you cannot say my internet was not working as an excuse to delay a deadline. And we'll talk about deadlines later, but I just want to make sure that I am being perfectly clear and perfectly honest with you about that. The next thing to consider is that this course relies heavily on Microsoft Office. So you will need access to a computer with Microsoft Office 2013 and 2016 if you're an Apple user. For the most part, these pieces of software, whether it be Apple or Windows, work identically. There are some SAMS challenges where the Apple access is more difficult. But again, and I want to state this unequivocally, Office 2013 or newer is available in the labs at WKU. So if you're having trouble on your Apple Office 2016, you're still responsible to complete those assignments because the computer labs are available. Now, if you are in a very remote location and you do not have access to a WKU computer lab, you can send me an email and we can try to brainstorm in that scenario. But if you are an on-campus residential student or live close to one of those campuses, one of our campuses, you're responsible for this work And if your Apple machine or your Linux machine does not have software which is working properly, you must get to a lab to complete that work. So let's talk about when this class meets. We don't. Rarely ever do I meet with students in person who are in this class because we do all of our communication via email. We will never meet face to face, okay? Everything, the lectures, the readings, the projects, the exams are all your responsibility, and the material is either available online or in your book, okay? The course is delivered through Blackboard. Here's a link. The comprehensive final is the only part of this course that you will actually have to take at a specific place and time. And then if you have questions, I want to make this very clear. Email is the appropriate way to contact me. If you contact my office, it may delay my response. If I'm not available to take the phone call, it may be a day or two before I even get your voicemail. But if you shoot me an email, that's going to make things a whole lot easier. And when we get a little bit lower, we'll talk specifically about email. So what do your activities look like? On this course, we have 5 things that you have to do. The first thing is the reading, okay? The course is structured along chapters in the book. The schedule will tell you what chapters you need to read. The lectures will focus on those chapters, and the chapters readings go along with the lectures. Now, the readings and the lectures together are put into modules, okay? And we have 6 modules in this course, each named after a leader in technology. There'll be information on the technology leaders in the course itself, and it's named after those. So when you think about it, our exams, which are here at the bottom, will be based on the modules, and we've got a little error there. There's only 5 regular exams. The modules are where the exams are based on modules, and the modules are based on lectures and readings. So this may seem complicated, but it's very simple. There are 12 SAM projects, and the SAM projects are just step-by-step guided Microsoft Office activities. Okay, so there are videos available. You watch the video, and then you do the activity. If you have an error, you refer back to the video. And these SAM projects are part of the deliverables because not only should you have a good understanding of computers, you should also have a good understanding of how to use the tools that computers have, specifically Microsoft Office, that will serve you in your life/roles as functioning citizens and adults in this technological world we live in. And then the last one are the reflections of technology. And these reflections of technology are assignments that help you reflect and make meaning of the readings, the lectures, and the SAM projects to some extent. So those are the 5 areas in where there will be content. And then finally, there is a proctored comprehensive exam that you complete at a specific date and time, and that's not in December, that's going to be in May. It's on your schedule. You cannot pass the course if you don't take it. Now, there have been some times where people have had to make special arrangements for the final, and I will work with you with that. But specifically, the final's in person, you have to take it, and it is proctored. So be aware of that. So let's take a look at grading. I've taught this course a lot of times, several times, and somehow the grading is not communicated well. So I'm going to give it another attempt. Your grading is based on points and only points, not percentages, okay? So if you have an 87%, but you also have 901 points, the points matter more, okay? So let's look how the points are added up. The syllabus quiz, 10 points. Now, the syllabus quiz is very important because it unlocks the class content. If you don't finish the syllabus quiz with a perfect score, you're not going to be able to see the lectures. The SAM projects are 25 points each, so we're at 310. The reflection of technology gets us up to 140 points, so now we're at 450. If we keep looking, our regular exams are another 450 points. That's 900, and the final comes in at 250. So there's 1,150 points. So you can understand, and these dates, I'll correct those for you. So you can understand there are 1,000 points for the scoring, but there are 1,150 points available, which means there's 150 points of extra material, okay? So, if we look at this, what do these points mean? Well, these points really matter when we look at the grading scale, okay? And we'll do a little math here together. If I've got 901 points, okay? If we do a little math, we take 901 and divide it by 1,150. That gives us, okay, that gives us 0.78. So that looks like 78%. Okay? Now I'm going to clear this off and do that one more time. If you've got 901 points at the end of the class, that equals 78%. But what is your grade? It is not this. It is this. Because again, the class is based on points. 900 points gets you an A every time. 78% doesn't matter because the class is scored out of 1,150 points. Okay? Now, I know I kind of beat that horse to death, but I want to be very clear on that because that is a source of confusion for a lot of people when we get near the end of the course. And I don't want you to be confused about that. I want you to be confident that you can calculate your own score. And all you have to do is take that point total from Blackboard, throw it in this scale here, and you'll know exactly where you're at any point, okay? The other thing, there's a couple of there's something I do to help recover from early mistakes. At the end of the course, we're going to replace your lowest exam grade with your second lowest exam score. So what that means is if you've got a 25 on one of your tests, an 88, an 80, a 16, I'm sorry, let's make that 66. A 66 and a 0. Well, this 0 will be replaced with 25. Okay? But let's look at another scenario. Let's say that instead of getting a 0 at the end, you got a 90 on the last one. Well, then this 25 will be replaced with a 66. So the way it works is at the end of the test, at the end of the semester, whatever your lowest score is, it'll be replaced with your next lowest score. So you will get a little bit of a bump at the end of the semester if you take all of the exams or if you only miss one exam. Now, here's a scenario you need to understand. If you miss 2 exams, okay, you will not see a bump. Matter of fact, 2 Fs will remain 2 Fs. And the final doesn't count in this. So if we go through that same scenario again, if you have a 0, an 85, an 82, and a 76 because you had a hard time getting started. Well, I'm going to replace one zero with the other zero, and that doesn't affect your score at all. So not only does the point value for each testing matter, but it also matters that you make sure that you take all the tests. Because if you don't take all the tests, this little built-in help you out is not going to work. Okay? All right, let's move on. Let's get back to email. Okay? Email matters because it is, again, the main way that we will communicate. All right? And to give you, before I set your expectations, let me set some expectations for myself. I am only going to treat your WKU email account as, the only email account I will be contacting you via is your WKU email account, okay? That is the one I'm using. I'm not using your preferred account. I'm not using a Gmail. I'm using your WKU email account, all right? The other thing is that I check my email daily. And so if I check mine daily, you will need to check yours daily because that is how I'm communicating with you. That's where the class announcements will come. Now, I check it daily on weekdays. I try to respond within 24 hours. But to make sure that I understand it for the course, which takes priority while I'm checking email, your subject line needs to say CIS 141, okay? So a perfect one would be CIS 141. Give me a dash to space it out. Trouble logging in. Okay? So if we do that, we're in good shape. I'll know exactly what we're doing. I'll be able to respond to you quickly. Now, if I just get an email that says that looks a lot like spoofing and spam. We'll cover spoofing and spam in the course, but these are tactics that fake websites use to get your credentials. So, to make sure that my spam filter does not filter out your email and make it difficult for me to respond, I need you to put that CIS 141 in there, okay? The other thing to be aware of is that when we come to different deadlines on the course, that you need to keep this 24-hour response time in mind. If it's 3:58 and your project is due at 4, don't expect a response if you send me an email at 3:58. There's not enough time. Because again, just like you, you may be working, I certainly have a job. And just like you, there are other things that may be taking up my time. So the best thing you can do is contact me way before those deadlines, because that gives me time to help you and to troubleshoot. So each time this course happens, I learn something new. I learn to expect something else. And that's something that I want to share with you, is that I do not have an answer for every scenario like Google. Sometimes if you're having a problem, I'm going to have to do a little research to get you a good answer. And I will not be able to do that within minutes or sometimes hours. It may take upwards of a day to get you those answers, all right? Just wanted to be clear about that. And the same thing, I'm checking it daily on weekdays. During weekends, I check my email sporadically. We talked about where the class website is. It's at Blackboard, wku.edu. Here's some stuff I just want to cover in brief. All right. First, if you are a military student, a veteran, or active duty, if you need any help, I encourage you to go to wku.edu/veterans. There are programs available for you there. If you're a student with a disability, my office, the Student Accessibility Resource Center, coordinates accommodations for those. So if you do need accommodations and you have not registered with the Student Accessibility Resource Center, I encourage you to do so. We're located in DSU 1074. It's on the first floor near the game room. Our phone number is 745-5004. And then the biggest piece is that if you need accommodations, typically you do not directly contact your instructor, and that's still the case. The first thing you need to do is go to SARC, that's what I call it, and get accommodations. They will provide you with a letter, which we call an FNL, Faculty Notification Letter. And then once you have this, email me a copy, and then we'll work on getting those accommodations for you. All right? And the last thing is a Title IX statement. This is the university's Title IX statement. If you feel that you have a concern about discrimination or harassment or sexual misconduct or anything of that nature, I encourage you to contact Michael Crow. Here's his phone number, or Joshua Hayes. There's their phone number. And this is something I want us all to take very seriously. Title IX, disabilities, veteran status, all these things matter very deeply to the folks who are affected by issues among these areas, and they matter to me too. So if you find that there's something happening in your world, whether it's in my course or not in my course, and you do not have a conduit to report this stuff, let me know and I'll get you connected to the appropriate people to get your resolution. Now let's go back just for a second, and we're going to spend some time here, okay? So, academic dishonesty. I want to talk you through this one very clearly, because this can become a source of contention. In this course, there are several ways that you could cheat because I am not there with you while you go through the course. So let's talk about it and talk about potential consequences for confirmed acts of cheating. First, none of the exams are open book. So we're using the honor method here. Of course, there's no way for me to enforce this. I don't have cameras in your home or wherever you're taking the course. But the tests are not open book. But again, there's no way for me to know unless you admit it. And it's rare people do that. The other thing is that all of the work in this class is individual. So that means that you should be doing 100% of the work you're submitting, and you are not collaborating. Any form of collaboration on a graded activity, unless authorized by me, will result in an F for the course, okay? If you cheat on anything, you will automatically fail the course. Now, where would we see, where do I typically see where there's collaboration? Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. It's difficult for me to detect collaboration on tests, although I can. There are some ways to do that. It's also difficult to detect collaboration on some of the assignments, although there are some ways to do that, and I am vigilantly looking to make sure people are not cheating. But these SAM projects are very tempting for students to collaborate and to help each other out. And I promise you, this is if you cheat on the SAMs, 99% of the time, you're going to get caught, and it's going to result in an F for the course, okay? I want you to know, don't do it. It's not worth it. You can pass the course without completing these SAM projects, but you will not pass the course if you cheat on a SAMs project. So what I say to you is that this class is all about one particular word, and it is planning, okay? We're going to go over the schedule in another video. In that video, you'll see every deadline you have, when every test is going to occur, when all of the assignments are going to occur. And I suggest you plan out when you're going to work on this course, and you should work on it regularly. All right, and the thing that I should mention now, and I don't know if it's in the syllabus, but I will mention it, I do not accept late work for this course, okay? So, I feel like writing it down makes it better. No late work. All of the deadlines on these within the first week of the course, So there's no reason for anything to be in late. And the way to make sure you don't have late work is to plan. So what I would recommend your next step would be watch the schedule video, the class calendar, and then plan out when you will work on this course. I suggest you set aside a couple hours every week, probably more than that, probably about 3 hours a week or two 2-hour sessions a week so you can do the SAMS projects and so you can watch the lectures and you leave yourself enough time to take a video. You know, if you're doing this course properly, you're spending about 5 hours per week plus reading. That's how you get an A in this course. But if you don't plan and you're not doing this regularly, this is what you'll be trying to turn in. Late work. And this is a no-no. Okay? So, we have covered a lot in this video. I've scratched up my syllabus quite a bit, but just to recap, I truly think you have to work hard not to do well in this course. The course is structured in a way where you have an opportunity to make a lot of mistakes and still recover. But the only way that this works is if, as a partnership, I will do my part. You know, if I find that I haven't gotten something up when it's supposed to be up, I will extend those deadlines, and I'll give you ample time to do it. But you have to do your part and meet those deadlines, okay? But otherwise, I'm excited to have you all in this course. I think you'll do well, and I think this content will serve